Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 30th of May for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the standout issues and strands to look out for. Please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts. Now this week of course begins with a new moon in Gemini. Now, Gemini energy is all about how we think. It's very nimble and agile, can be very amusing, very much to do with sharing ideas and interacting in a bright and bubbly way. But of course, the moon is very much how we feel about things, and the sign of Gemini is very much more about how we assess things from a more logical viewpoint. So one of the things that we can do over the next month is to meld our drive and our ideas much more closely to how we actually feel. So it's an opportunity for sure. Now, this is also a week when Mars and Jupiter continue to be very closely together. The exact conjunction actually happened as last week came to a close. So that combination can give us a lot of thrust, a lot of traction, a lot of enthusiasm in the sign of Aries. That's very much about getting things off the ground. But both the position of Mars and Jupiter are forging a relatively positive angle to Venus, which of course has now returned to the sign of Taurus, which it governs. So that thrust and the ideas energy that the new moon has given us in Gemini can certainly see us working towards making the most of our resources, which Venus in Taurus can be very good at grappling with. It can also give us an appreciation of good food and good wine and more sensual pleasures as well. But then on Friday, Mercury ends its retrograde, also in the sign of Taurus. So, we've all been challenged by this new financial reality which is kicking in, and it has been retrograde since the 10th of May and in the sign of Taurus since the 23rd of May. But then on Saturday, Mercury comes out of shadow, but also Saturn goes into a retrograde in the sign of the people, the collective, the sign of Aquarius. So it's possible through to the 23rd of October that we're going to be more mindful, I think, over a period of time of how connected we are to one another. I'm going to do a special on the fact that Saturn and Uranus are going to go through a square again within 3 degrees from the 11th of August. So please look out for that. But the other thing to tell you is that Mercury, despite that retrograde, is actually in a very subtle but powerful link to Neptune. So one of the things that we can do this week is listen to our hunches, because they can serve us very well indeed. So Scorpio, your week commencing the 30th of May forecast sees the new moon on Monday occur in the part of your situation to do with transformations. If you're entrepreneurial, good possibilities can follow in the next month. If you're more interested in personal development, your thoughts, Gemini, can be transformed at a deeper level about some key strands in your situation. Of course, the 8th house can be about where we're most devoted and invested in a romantic sense. But because Mercury has been twisting backwards in your sector of relating, once that goes forwards towards the end of this week, that's really going to help. But even before then, Mercury's forging a beautiful link with Neptune. Venus, also in your sector of relating, in a fine semi-sextile to your ruler Mars. And Mars and Jupiter together are going to give you a lot more physical energy. But Saturn going into its retrograde through to the 23rd of October from the weekend is going to give you an opportunity to improve physically where you live, or perhaps change the actual location. There could be some extra responsibilities that are going to come through your family. So for example, if you'd like an extra child, or perhaps if you're older, it could be an addition to someone else in the family. That could be something you'd really like. Saturn retrograde in the 4th house could also point towards home working for some people. I know that's been a thing for a lot of people who are now returning to work in the main, perhaps working a couple of days from home, but maybe it's not something you've considered. Saturn gives us opportunities. It's just we have to work for them. And if you are someone who's a little bit resistant at looking at the emotional side of life, Saturn can bring lots of understanding and teachings to your situation over this next 4 or 5 months.